Yo, I'm Troy, this is TM Fitness. Adaptive thermogenesis and Hardgainers. Adaptive thermogenesis is usually talked about in relation to weight loss. I'm going to explain what that is and how it relates to people who are trying to gain weight or build muscle. Before I do that, we need to recap on what metabolism is. So your metabolism, your metabolic rate, your total daily energy expenditure, etc. is comprised of 4 components, and those 4 components are BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. That's all the energy you would use if you were to just lay on your back for 24 hours. NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is all the movement that you do that isn't exercise: standing, walking, laughing, cleaning, fidgeting. Then TEF, which is the thermic effect of food, which is some of the energy or calories from that food is burnt off during digestion. And then at the top you've got EAT, exercise, adaptive thermogenesis, and that's obviously, exercise. That's when you're in the gym training. So BMR, your basal metabolic rate, is about 70% of your total daily energy expenditure. It's quite big. There's not a lot you can do to change that. NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is around 15% for most people, and that is something that you can influence, and I'll explain more about that in a moment. TEF, thermic effect of food, is around 10%. You can only affect that in terms of the volume of food that you eat and the types of food you eat. So foods that are higher in protein and fibre, your more natural whole foods, are going to have a higher thermic effect than processed foods. So if you eat a diet that is made up of a lot of highly processed foods that are low in protein and fibre, you'll have a much lower TEF than someone who eats a lot of fruits and vegetables and lean meats and so on. And then your activity adaptive thermogenesis, EAT, is about 5%, and it can be higher if you're doing a lot of training, if you're an elite athlete. But of course, the more exercise you do, the more rest you need. So as EAT goes up, NEAT comes down. So they balance each other out. And this is the thing. So for people who are losing weight, who experience adaptive thermogenesis or metabolic adaptation, is that they drop their calories down and then their NEAT tanks. And you couple that with the fact that they're eating less food, so they've got less TEF. And what actually happens then is they're eating less, but their activity comes down and their food volume comes down. And then the calories that they're putting out is matching the calories that they're putting in. Doesn't affect everyone, but some people are really affected by that. So you drop your calories down and then your body goes, nope, just going to lay on the sofa and feel sad. How that affects people at the other end of the scale who are trying to build size and gain muscle is that they increase their NEAT massively when they eat more food. So to be clear, if you want to gain muscle and put on some weight, you need to be doing resistance training. It needs to be consistent and progressive. You need to be well recovered. You need to be sleeping well as well. You need to be eating a lot. You need to be eating meaningful protein because of growth and repair and all those things, muscle protein synthesis and everything else. But you need to be eating more food and putting more energy in than you're putting out. You need to be in an energy surplus. But what happens for some people is they put themselves into an energy surplus and then their NEAT ramps up and matches it. So they're no longer in a surplus. This is quite tricky for some people to manage, and it'll be something you don't notice. You don't notice that your NEAT is increased. It might be a simple fact that you're just fidgeting more. You might find that you actually train a bit harder in the gym and push out a few extra reps, or that you just walk more, or you walk faster, or you talk louder. Usually, as I say, it's little things like more fidgeting, just more general movement increases your NEAT, so it increases your calorie burn, so that your calorie intake, your calorie output is matching your calorie intake. So what you need to do is work out what your maintenance calories are, increase that by about 5%, so it's around 200 or 300 calories for most people. After a month or so, if you're not getting any gains, and you're measuring your gains by how much weight you're lifting on the bar, how much total volume you're doing, and also size, so you're doing girth measurements for your limbs, your chest, your arms, your thighs, whatever. And if there's no gains, in any of those areas, then you need to increase your calories again, so bring it up by another 5%, and then check it again in a month's time. And this is where it gets quite difficult for some people, because a lot of people just suddenly struggle to get the volume of food in that they need. And so what you need to be doing there is thinking about liquid calories. So juices and smoothies are a good option there, or just sports energy drinks that have got loads of calories in them, or swapping some of your food choices around, like more fatty cuts of meat instead of your lean cuts of meat, snacking on nuts and seeds, putting olive oil on your vegetables, using whole milk to mix with your protein powder instead of skimmed milk. Anything to get extra calories in, anything that's going to make it easier for you to hit those calorie targets so you can get your gains. You just need to be conscious about these things, and if you're not paying attention, if you're not recording your progress, you're not going to know what's going on. You're not going to know how to adjust and adapt and avoid the adaptive thermogenesis that may be going on. So I hope that's made some sense for you. If you've got any questions, just put them in the box, and I'll catch you later. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to follow the channel, click the bell to get notifications. If you've got any comments, put them in the box below. And please do share my content, because it's the best way to support this channel. Laters.